Hello everybody, today I want to talk about 24 motivators on my journey from being broke to making history. My number one, I just want to stop struggling. You know, if you've ever been broke before and you go to like what gas station you're going to because it's 10 cents less per gallon, but you're driving 15 miles to get there. If you're going to a restaurant and you're reading the right side of the menu instead of the left side of the menu because that's what you can afford, you don't want to live that way anymore. If you're worried about every time you're swiping a card, what's in the account, did something clear, did something accidentally get approved, did something, leave the account, that's not a good way to live. I just didn't want to struggle anymore. That was my number one when I got started as an entrepreneur. Stop struggling, stop being broke. Number two was experiences. You know, when you don't have a lot of money and you start making a little bit of money, you just want to like get a taste of it. So it was a nice restaurant. It was VIP service. It was going to a restaurant on the beach and being able to order the fish because it's a seafood restaurant on the ocean instead of ordering the chicken, okay? You don't go to the seafood restaurant to order the chicken, you get the fish, you get the sushi. So it was just experiences. I wanted to see what that was like. Go to a concert, nice ticket, like just something. I couldn't live that life, but I could get a taste of it. That was number two. Number three, I wanted a nice place to live. I lived in this ghetto apartment at one point in my life where my parking spot was right next to the trash can. I hated going home. I hated parking. I hated the smell, trash everywhere. It was disgusting. And I said, I'm freaking sick and tired of living here. So if you're sick and tired of living there, I totally understand. Where the person's, hitting the broom and when you're just having a few friends over and you're like, I'm freaking tired of having neighbors. I totally get it. That was my number three. Number four was traveling. I couldn't afford to do certain things. I couldn't afford to buy the house or the car yet. We're getting there. But I could afford to get a taste of what that looked like. So cruise ships, Mexico. It was this taste of, oh my God, this is what the world looks like. This is what the beach looks like. This is what white sand looks like. This is what Hawaii looks like. This is what birds outside your window. And it's not like Pandora, play bird music, It's real birds. Like getting those tastes makes you want it more. Sometimes you got to taste success. You got to taste success so that you know what that's like and you want more of it. Point number five was savings. You start experiencing some of these things and you're like, okay, I really am going to need more money, to accomplish these things. I'm going to need more money. I need more savings. I want to be able to do it. I want to be able to go on the jet skis when I go on the vacation instead of worrying that, it's going to cost X amount of money. So it was savings more and, hey, 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand. Oh my God, 20 grand. Man, 30 grand, 50 grand. Oh my God, 50 grand, 100 grand, $1 million. Are you kidding me? So it was building my savings. Number six, it was team brand. We had a small team and we're a bunch of, underdogs and people have no idea who we are. And I was like, man, I want my guys to feel like they're part of something. I want them to feel like they're, we're a family, we're a group. So we came up with the team name Unity because it means family for me. And, you can go through anything in life, but family's family. Nothing gets in the way. You're going to fix the problems. You're going to stick it out. You're going to make it work. You're going to come through for one another. You're going to be loyal to one another. So I wanted kind of like a team brand and I started figuring that part out for myself. Next one, personal respect in the company. I wanted to make a name for myself. Who's that guy? Versus, hey, that's George Palaio, and there's levels to that. So I just wanted the first level of people to know like, hey man, that's George Palaio. People to know my name, for me to be somebody that was accomplishing enough to be known in the company. So personal respect in the company, make a name for yourself. Next one, I wanted my guys to win. I wanted my guys to experience promotions. I wanted my guys to make income. I felt like as a leader, if I'm winning and my guys are not, I'm a bad leader because I'm being selfish. Well, man, look at what I'm doing. And I've always judged my business by, hey, what's my next 10 guys? If this is what I make, what do my best 10 guys make? And are their lives getting better by being around me? So it became a lot about my team winning and developing. And if your team wins, you win. Next one, number 9 was senior promotions. In our business, we have, you produce a certain amount, you get to the next level of compensation. Maybe for you in a job, it's, promotion, title, whatever that may be, manager, supervisor, regional, district, CEO, whatever that may be for you, vice president. And so I wanted to start accumulating some credibility, some reputation, start making more money. Also, just more success, more pride, more respect in what we've accomplished. Next one was helping my parents. Now, that was not my number 10. That's my number 1. But financially, there were certain things that I had to do along the way before I can do that. Now, you can help your parents and say, hey, let me help with the phone bill. Let me help with an insurance payment. Let me take you out to dinner. Let me help with the car bill. Let me help with that. And it was slow that I started, and eventually I took over everything, which we'll talk about. But I wanted to be able to start helping my family. Number 11, I wanted to buy a home. I was tired of renting and wasting all this money, and I wanted to have a property, and I wanted to build investments. So that was like my next season of accumulating wealth now, going from savings to wealth creation, assets, Next one. I wanted to compete as an organization. I wanted to, within the company, as a team now, not as an individual and not internally, but externally in the company, I wanted to compete and for our organization to be known, for the organization to be respected, for the organization to be number one. I wanted my guys to have pride to represent our organization and be on this team pride. And if you're in a business or you have a job, maybe it's, in your region or your division, you want to compete. I wanted to start competing at a company level. Number 13 was improvement. I said, okay, we kind of got our footing down. What's next? How do we improve, operations? How do we improve system? How do we improve our office? How do we improve our sales? How do I improve myself? How do I improve my coaching? How do I improve my people? How do I improve my staff? So it was a season of improvement. Then number 14 was elite experiences. Okay, this is like certain things where it's like, dude, I want to be on a private jet. I want to know what that's like, not buy it yet, but experience that, okay? I want to know what it's like to be backstage. I want to know what it's like to be front row at a concert. Like, I want to know what that next looks like. I want to be at the top, that private restaurant. I want to be on that, 10-course meal where, it's $2,000 for 4 people to have dinner. Like, I wanted some elite experiences. I wanted a taste of that life. I wanted to rent a penthouse at the hotel instead of just, the regular room. So I wanted that elite experiences. And then number 15 was a big personal dream. For me, growing up as a kid, we didn't have a lot of money. And so we'd go to Toys R Us and we'd buy these model cars. And I tell the story all the time. We would make Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And I'd ask my dad, can we buy one of these? And he would say, son, one day you are. So it became about accomplishing that. Like, can a guy that's a college dropout that used to serve people food, clean tables, clean underneath the table, pick up the spaghetti, put the dirty silverware, scrape off the dishes, put it for the dishwasher, go get your salad, go get your drinks. Can a guy that's a dropout, that's never been number one in anything, in sports, never won anything, never number one in anything, can he go stay consistent? Can he go succeed at that level? It wasn't for buying a Ferrari for other people. It was buying it for George to know that, hey man, you were able to get to this point, to stick it out, to get to that point where you could afford to do those kinds of things, and then show my dad that, hey, Dad, we did it. You built me, and I was able to do this for us. And that was a personal small gift to myself. Next one was a big one. It's been a life goal since I was a kid, since I was probably 5, 6 years old. It was retiring my mom and dad. It was taken over, and this went in stages, guys. Hey, I'm going to help with bills. I'm going to put the down payment for the house. I'm going to help with bills. I'm going to help with repairs. And then it was, I'm going to help with the phone bill. And then I'm going to help with the insurance. And then it was, I took my dad to a dealership and we bought his dream car for him and my mom. That mattered to me, that when my mom and dad got in a car, that they were sitting in something and driving something safe that was world class, that represented our last name. And I know a car doesn't define you, but I wanted them to know that, man, you're VIP. And then from there it was, hey guys, at this point, I'm going to take over the mortgage. And I'm going to take over the last bills that you have. And everything's going to be on, EFT, where it's going to draft automatically, okay? And you're not going to have to pay a bill. I don't want a bill coming to your mailbox. That was one of my greatest dreams in my life, and I'm so grateful to God, so honored, so grateful to be able to do that for my family. I think we live in a world today where we don't value our parents and we don't come through for our last name. Pat just did a video, and it was so powerful. He says, there are people that love you, but they don't admire you. Your wife, and he asked this question, he says, maybe your wife says, man, that guy used to get it. He used to be urgent. He used to be in shape. He used to, improve. He used to take care of the family. And while I love him, he's not that urgent anymore, right? So there's love, but there's not that admiration. And he's like, maybe it's a father and a son. And it's like, man, I love you, but why aren't you becoming your very best version of yourself? I'm going to love you, but man, where's that admiration? I wanted that admiration from my parents. Such a big thing to me, from my family, from my mentor. I wanted the people that gave me, for me to be able to give that back, saying, hey, your coaching worked. I wanted to prove that coaching worked. Next one was proving to myself that I could be the best. There's being one of the guys, and then there's being the guy. I wanted to prove to myself that I could be the best. And for me, and number 18, I wanted to prove it to my mentor, and I wanted to prove it to my business partners that I was the guy, that I was the leader. And I mean this with all humility. This is not to make somebody smaller. To lift yourself up, to build yourself up, you don't have to make somebody smaller. You just have to make yourself bigger. So I wanted people to know that we're the number one organization. I'm the number one leader. That mattered to me. Next one, I wanted my teammates' big dreams and goals to happen. So, man, I want this person to retire their parents. I want this person. And again, these are things that matter to me. I'm not giving you a sequential order, but they're phases that I went through in my life. I want that person to retire their parents. I know their parents. I know that that's their why. And it went from, man, one day you're going to retire your parents to, that's right, you retired your parents. That the coaching helped you accomplish your goal. That mattered to me. That, hey, you know what? I just bought my parents a house. Or guess what? I just built my parents a house. One of our guys just built their parents a 10-bedroom house. Or, hey, you know what? I retired my mom and my dad. Or, you know what? I saved 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, 300 grand. We got people today that say, man, I got hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings, that this business set me up financially, that their dreams and goals were happening. Their big dreams and goals. Next one. It was to establish long-term stability in the business. So now you're kind of mature. People are winning. You're winning. You know, you're living in your dream home. You got the cars. You got the money. You got the savings. Your people are winning. You got good systems. You got nice office. You got all the great stuff. And then you're asking, hey, what's the longevity of this business? What's the longevity of what I'm teaching? Man, do we have the right standards? Do we have the right systems? Do we have the right vision? Do we have the right people? Am I giving the right message? Am I the best coach? Am I the best person that I need to be for my organization? So it was about establishing a long-term stable business. See, when you're young, you think short-term. As you get older, you think more long-term. It should be that way. It should be that way because you start thinking that, hey, man, time is running out. So I got less time to do what I want to do. And then you have to think about that, man, people are one day going to remember what my standards were. So I got to make sure that I'm the very best version of myself so people can go be better than the very best version of me so they can be better than I am, better than we currently were. And so you start thinking about these things. You start thinking about what kind of business are you going to build for your kids so that your last name, that your family can come into something and be an owner instead of a worker somewhere, that you can help build their legacy. So I started thinking about long-term stability in business, long-term stability in life. 21 was personal growth, true personal growth, knowing what my greatest capacity is. See, there's doing it for other people, then there's doing it for yourself again. Knowing what my greatest capacity could be. What is the very best version? Right now I'm on a fitness transformation. I'm on an education transformation. I'm on a spiritual transformation. Reading the Bible from front to back in Psalms. Man, working on myself. Working on my personal issues that I need to get better. Being the best husband. Being the best dad. Being the best leader. Being the best example, being mature, being what my company needs, not just what my organization needs, but what my partners need. True spiritual, true maturity, true wisdom, true enlightenment, true awakening. And that's such a powerful journey when you get there. Number 22, this kind of ties in true financial freedom. You know, there's levels to financial freedom. We were talking earlier, somebody says, well, what's financial freedom? You know, well, you're free when your passive income exceeds your bills and your responsibility. But that doesn't mean you're wealthy, and that doesn't mean your kids are wealthy, and that doesn't mean that you can do everything for your family that you want to do. So knowing what that number is to really say, hey, anybody with my blood, I can take care of. My personal family, my wife, kids, my parents, my siblings, their kids, the second generation, the third generation. I want us to be financially independent to that level so that we're in control of our lives instead of somebody else. Number 23 is industry respect. You know, at one point you're going to do something and you got to ask yourself, well, hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great for my team. I'm doing great in my company. But in the industry that I'm in, am I known as that person in that industry? Am I the guy, the gal in the industry? So again, it's internal, in office, in company, in industry. And so we're at a point right now where Unity wants to be known as the most dominant in marketing, business, leadership, sales, entrepreneurship team in the insurance and financial industry in America right now. That's not going to be easy. We don't take the competition lightly. And that's why it's saying, how can we get better? How can we improve by 0.1%, 1%, 10%? How do we get better? And we want to put 1,000 people. Our goal in Austin in 20, I don't know what time you're watching this video, what year it is, but it's 2024 right now. Our goal is to have 1,000 people by the end of this year attending trainings where it's a leadership environment where every single Tuesday, every single Saturday, 1,000 people are showing up like it's a church to come here. And eventually that growing and growing and growing and building those centers across the United States. So industry respect. And lastly, number 4 is history. It ties in everything. It's not just in that industry. It's doing what I see my mentor and coach, Patrick Bet-David, doing, where you see him changing the world. And I went to the Vault, which is the event that he runs for all these entrepreneurs. And I left there with a new vision. I was inspired to say, man, you can change the world. Like, you know, when you hear that first, like you could change the world. You could change the world. It just sounds like motivation. And then you start saying, like, we want to change the world. And typically you're just fired up. At one point, I mean, if you get here, salute to you, because it's been a hard journey to get here. And I'm not saying this from a place of ego. If anything, you don't want to say it because now you understand how much responsibility it's going to take to say that, man, we're going to make this world better. Because it can't be about you if you're going to make the world better. It's got to be about everybody else, which means it's demanding. It's demanding. But we want to make history because like this, you're born, and like this, you die. And that time frame it's over in a blink. You know, so you got to ask yourself, like, what's worth me giving my very best? So whatever phase you're in right now, whatever your next is, always understand that there's another next. And eventually, maybe you'll find a calling that you don't even know existed at that moment, and you were just chasing money, and then you start chasing history, and then you start making history and changing history. I hope this inspired you. Whatever phase you're in, there's always a next. Go get it. We'll see you at the top.